to do this as a hands-on workshop, introduce to some of the IoT concepts and get you guys working on something. So ideally we would like if you have your laptops, and because this is really a hands-on session, we do have some information, but we would really like you to do some hands-on work. We have some kits available for you. So I'll just briefly introduce who we are. We are actually part of different organizations. Some of us have their own startups and they work in different areas. But we in Pune, we have a group called Do Things, where we would like to meet together. Now we are close to, I believe, 2,000 people in the meetup. Many of us like to meet regularly and try to solve problem or create problem and then try to solve them, as you can see. It's a very enthusiastic group, and we keep on discussing various things, crazy projects, funny projects. We will try to introduce to some of work which we have done, and then really would like you to try it out. So before we proceed on to that, I would like to understand, right, is that something which you guys are interested in? I don't know whether equipped right now, because that was the purpose. So if you guys are interested, can get your laptops, we can move towards that. Otherwise, we have to pivot and see what else we can do. We don't see.
I don't have a laptop.
We don't have.
How comfortable are they? How many of you have worked with Arduinos and stuff and already retired? Most, right?
We will show that.
Yeah, but then what do we do? We can.
I have a machine that I can spare.
That
probably a couple more. So if we have like 2 or 3 more machines, then we could split into. We have 3 tables, so maybe 3 teams, and then we could do like a hands-on session of some project that you guys have in mind with the sensors that we have available and boards. So that's a attempt that we can try the next couple of hours.
So any of you who is completely new to Arduino, raise your hand. Arduino IoT has this couple of people, right? So those people can get into one table. We can have something else focused for you, and then others can try something else. So see, what really we would like to do is to give you taste of this technology and see what actually you can do with it at a very, very low cost, almost no cost. And then if you have ideas of your own, you can try to make and create something accordingly, and also see some of day-to-day stuff, but with little bit more intelligence on what we have done. So let me give brief introduction on to a few things, and then meanwhile let's try to get the laptops.
Since it was running late, how much time?
So 3 table, 3 laptops. I have 1 here. Yeah.
Do we still have the original 2 hours time, or?
We have? Okay, so as I mentioned, we are part of a group called Do Things, and this is our meetup link, and the motto which we try to work, again, is completely community based, but our idea is to have all of us becoming makers than just the user of a technology, be it a smartphone or any smart device or anything over and beyond that. And as a part of this group, we, as I said, we conduct a couple of workshops. We have conducted a dedicated workshop for colleges, bringing students into this community, try to help them in their creative work which they would like to do. We have conducted a workshop for as young kids at 7-year-old, and we have seen them getting hooked onto it and trying to do programming, which was very encouraging. And then to senior people, like people in ESER, we have conducted workshop for them as well. So I'll just, for the benefit of those who are new to IoT or the device as such, and then I'll just try to run through this. We all know what is a computer, right? Bunch of input and output with some programming done in between, right? Now this is exciting, but what we see here is anything and everything which you generally see in a monitor like this, or projector or LCD screen. But to make it more exciting, we can use a device like Arduino, which then is again like a computer, but you can have a whole bunch of sensors which you can use in addition to your normal input like a keyboard or mouse or anything like that, and get an output in various forms. It could be a screen or a speaker or even moving a motor, and then even beyond this, Bluetooth communication, communicating into cloud, right? And I'll go to some of the projects which we have done, simple projects, and then to some of the complicated projects. Like simple projects like a talking solar system, right? This was a school project where basically when you touch a planet, the planet will talk about what they are. I'm Earth, I'm Mars, and I'm this and that, and I'm third rock from the sun, so forth. You can have a toy driving car, at least a miniature version of it. A project for tracking sun all day long wherever the sun is going, following it. And then some of the devices like a digital thermometer or a barometer or an alarm clock. And then some of the more advanced stuff which we've done. Some of the interesting thing which Ritu and these guys have done is a Twitter-enabled bubble machine. So based on the tweets in a workshop like this, you can have your participants tweet about it, and based on how much tweets you are getting, the machine can blow bubbles. Last DESCOM workshop 2-3 years back, we had that thing here. And then the interesting laser harp. So this is a big harp with no strings into it, only laser beams and detectors. And this was deployed on a Valentine's Day nicely outside a club, and the guy can play, of course, for a charge for his girlfriend. And then some of the things like humanoid robots and air quality monitors and many other features. So this is just an example of the stuff which is possible, and it could be your school or a college project, or we have even experimented with making kids projects, so projects for 10th standard or 8th standard, making them more intelligent, more interactive. And helping kids to kind of come to a platform where they can start programming. So especially for younger participants, it is very interesting for kids to learn programming through this mechanism, because they are able to see things moving, interacting, which is over and beyond just the computer. Because when they do some programming on a computer, they just see something on the screen. But here you can have a puppet which is moving arms or legs, right, and then have some more interaction. And even just blinking a light also is very exciting for kids to do. Correct? Okay. And then we have a couple of demos. We can start with this one, and we have some over there. So we will read the back.
So this is basically a PIR activated speaker, and imagine a movie poster put out in a movie theater or some random place, and it's got a PIR. So PIR is passive infrared. So when you walk in the washroom, the lights turn on, right? So we've taken the same thing and put it into speakers. So now when you walk across the poster, it's going to say dialogues from the movies. It also has something called an iBeacon in it. So if you're on the physical web, if you go on your Chrome browser and look for the physical web, then it shows beacons around in the area. And basically what it is doing is constantly broadcasting a URL. So now that you have a piece of furniture that is interactive, it's also broadcasting something about its URL. And the good thing about beacons is if you have 3 of them placed in a room, then depending upon your signal strength, you can actually triangulate your position indoors. So then indoor navigation becomes possible, and a whole bunch of applications are possible. That's one of them. Yes, probably this one. This one.
This one?
Yeah. So if you want, and it's pretty simple. The way we've done it is, I'll just open it up and show. So all of it, including the box, has been fabricated at home. So what I have is like a PCB, something like a SD card reader, right? This is an Arduino Nano, which just is looking for, and then this is an amplifier from an old speaker that I've just repurposed to use over here. And then the box is made out of 3mm acrylic, so you can design it on a website. I think Open Boxes is the, so you give it the dimensions and it will spit out a file for the box, and then you just go to a laser cutter and cut it out to whatever dimensions you want. And then there's a PIR, and all these components are available off the shelf for not more than $500 altogether, you know. So that's one of them. And then Ishan has built another interesting use case, which is much more related to the theme of this workshop, IoT and automotive. So we'll talk about it.
This is not strictly IoT. None this is strictly IoT, but this is meant to be used for cars. It took me a grand total of 1 hour to make. It is a very simple idea. It doesn't, you can see the green and the red LEDs lights there. It doesn't do anything for normal movement, but when there's a sudden movement like this, which you would expect in something like a crash, the light indicator turns red. This is an accelerometer right now, but it's variable. You can change how much, what intensity you want to be considered a crash or things like that. Another one that is...
So use case of this could be detecting a crash, informing authorities, your loved ones, if there is a crash in the car. In US, you might have seen, if anybody was there, the cars are generally connected, and then if there is an impact, there is an immediate call and we need an assistant, right? So we don't see that in India, and that was the reason why I was discussing with him, because these sort of devices are not very costly and they don't take too much time to build, but we don't see that coming into mainstream. This could be like a very useful feature for cars. And then yeah, this is another use case.
This is ever more slightly more interesting, and this took me half an hour more to make than the other one. This is a small distance sensor. It's a pretty low range one, but it's a distance sensor, and whenever I get too close to it, right there. So this is a text-to-speech module that I
will show. You can take it out.
Yeah.
No, not this. The whole thing.
No, wait. Take out this one. So this is I think relatively inexpensive. It's about 700 rupees, I think, for a text-to-speech model, and it's a very high precision one. If because it has different voices and you can set volumes and such, but for like ones with only particular voices or applications outside of this, there is it's much cheaper. The whole thing is a pretty simple circuit. Not exactly
yeah, so the idea behind, for example, this was many times you would have noticed people who drive car is we are distracted now constantly because of our smartphones. Either a call is coming or some message is there, and then we end up looking into it while driving, and many times we end up going too close to the car in front of us. With a detector like this, at least a warning can come, and then we can suddenly wake up from whatever we are doing and focus on that yes, we have to maintain a distance, or come back and focus back on the traffic and not on the smartphone. Right? So that this could be a very useful device, especially for people who have started driving recently and then could be distracted. The new generation which is constantly distracted. People like him who are constantly distracted because of smartphones. Okay. So how we have now some laptop?
Yeah, we have 1, 2, and 3, and then 4. Like
yeah, we just need one here.
This one. So, who you guys need one machine?
They would be okay with the Mac.
Haven't worked with an Arduino before. You can come on one table.
Yeah, so the people I think who have not worked with Arduino can come here, or who don't know much about IoT Arduino.
I haven't done it hands-on before this, so that we can sort of go much more basic.
I'll just walk you through each and every project that we've done over here, just to get an idea. I think the GIFs are pretty self-explanatory. But if you notice over here, there are some lights on the screen over here, and depending on where the brightness is, the strip at the bottom, the backlight is changing. So what I'm doing is just averaging out basically dividing the screen into 10 or 15 different vertical strips, and then averaging out the color, and then in real time projecting those colors on the strip below. So now any TV can have its own backlight, and you have a much cooler effect sitting in the room. The next project is a 4x4 LED cube, where these are normal LEDs stacked up, and now each of them is addressable. So if you want to, let's say, see the letter A, then you can control which LEDs that you want to turn on, and then in 3 dimensions you can have graphics. So now let's say you have a ship that you've designed in 3D, and imagine this scaled up to a 16 by 16 or 32 by 32, then the ship can actually sail through your cube, or an aeroplane can fly. So that's a miniature version. That one again was here a couple of years ago, where what we did was it's an arc reactor for the Iron Man t-shirt. So these are LEDs that you can sew on your clothes, and then there's a microcontroller that again stitch, and it works on a LiPo battery. So that's about lights. Raman showed this one, but this is in action. So if you can see these beams of lights, so these are the lasers that go from top to bottom, and as you move, it's a very simple LDR, light dependent resistor, and then as you move your hand through the air, there's another Linux box that's listening to inputs on what is being triggered, and then depending on that, it plays. This is like a 6 foot tall iPhone, not 6 but probably 4 or 5 feet tall iPhone that's made out of sunboard, but it's smart because we put it at NH7 last year, and when you click on the icon, there's a button behind that gets pressed, and the whole cafeteria would play a playlist of songs that was from that particular city. The last one is a 16 feet long piano with backlit keys, so you can actually jump and dance on it to play the piano, and actually plays the notes. So if you don't know how to play the piano, that's cool too, because you can just select a song and it will light up the keys, and then you get an idea, you know what the sounds are, and then you just follow them to learn to play it. So that's something else. The first one over here is done using a Kinect, so we're scanning a person in real time, and then projecting it on another screen, superimposing some animations on top of it. So you could dance for like, let's say 2 minutes, and then just stand steady, and your virtual image will still keep dancing. So for lazy people, that's like that's a cool way to get forward. And there, both of us, if you see, are holding these plates in our hand, and they're connected to some wire. So it's a basic principle of circuits, like we are good conductors of electricity. So one guy is holding the positive, the other is holding a negative, and as soon as we touch, we hooked it up to a DSLR camera with a flash. So the moment we touch each other, it clicks a picture, and the photo booths become much more interactive and fun. So I put it up in a school, and like kids were like just lining up, and they wanted to just click pictures all the time. We've done some work with Amazon Alexa, so it didn't have sound, so just saying turn on the lights, and using a Raspberry Pi is like a $30 credit card size computer, and it's, I think Raman also has built one. So Amazon Alexa would work on your Raspberry Pi, and that's something you could do. that's the event. That's the footage from Product Conclave 2 years ago in the main hall. So we put up a bubble machine and hooked up a Raspberry Pi that was constantly listening to tweets on the hashtag Pune Connect. And as soon as you tweeted, it would send bubbles out for 5 seconds. So a lot of people started tweeting because who doesn't like bubbles, right? You want to see bubbles, so you just tweet for them. Yeah. So that's some of the work. I'll just show you one more project over here. So in this, what we've done is in a mall in Vimannagar, Phoenix Market City. Means pianos, stairs, Phoenix. So this is what we did. We took a staircase, 35 sets of stairs, and then we covered it with vinyl. And there was capacitive touch sensors on it. So now it looked like a piano, acted like a piano. So you see people walk down it. And if you notice, there's an escalator right next to it, right? So I think about 95% of people did not take the escalator. They were just using the stairs. That's my twin brother. He looks awfully long.
Where you installed it?
Sorry?
Where did you install it?
This was in Phoenix Market City in Vimannagar. So opposite Zara, when you go to Star Bazaar in the basement. I guess this guy figured it out. And I notice at such places, kids are the first ones to figure out. Adults are like, okay, no big deal. But kids really enjoy. They're like running up and down all the time. But yeah, it's fun and then really changes the way we think and act. There are a couple of other projects that I just want to. So I think you can really modify someone's behavior if you make fun. So I've seen if you make a dustbin and attach something like a PIR sensor and put a speaker next to it, and the moment you throw trash, you just give it a sound effect that goes. So it just feels like a bottomless pit, you know. The trash seems to be. So people would just like put more trash in the bin just to have fun. Or then if you are like having a recycle center, then have like 3 or 4 holes, light them up, and depending upon which, so it lights up, then you throw a bottle in it, another hole lights up, you throw a bottle in it. So you make it interactive, and if you are correct, then the counter goes up. You know, so it's just encouraging people to. So these are fun things that you could build, and they are very easy to get started. So I think we'll try some projects or hands-on. What we have is we have a few Arduinos. Raman, you want to take over to how to go about it?
So this one table doesn't have a laptop yet.
This is the basic Arduino. I think keep 500 costs and a big box.
So just an introduction. So very soon we are passing on these devices. So all this fun actually starts with a device like this, which cost an Indian version will cost you around 400 rupees, not very costly. It is very easy to program. very simple sort of programs, as you will see. Even especially we have done not only with professionals but with kids as young as 7 and 8 years, and they were able to program very soon in a 2 and 3 hour sort of workshop, and were able to even enhance their program to do something more crazy and more fun than what we were asking them to do. So it's not that even if you have not done programming ever, it's not going to be very difficult. Many of us have started from that stage where we haven't done much programming and started with a device like this. And the good thing is that because you can have it interact with your physical world, your imagination is the limit. So as you can see, many things we try to do, they are just like school projects but more intelligent. They can have a commercial viability as well, but even if you are not, let's say you are a software developer or a management personnel, you can always do this as your hobby, especially with young kids who are mostly hooked on to computer. This could be a way of having them physical activity and enhance their creativity. So it's a good activity to do as a community as well. So we will move on to, so how do we use Arduino we will write some simple sort of program. We will compile it as you do in any program, upload it on this device, and then it will start working. And we'll see this very soon. Sorry?
Language.
This language is a derivative of C, C++, but I would not like you to bother with the language, at least at this moment. You will see that it is pretty much very generic language than any particular programming language. And this is the pinout, Nishant, which you were asking for. So I think we don't have on this board. Nishant, can you give them some? And actually the device is just this piece. We have put it on a cardboard for such kind of workshops for you to easy to use it. And the good thing about these devices is that they are pretty resilient. So even if you do crazy stuff with it, it is not going to fry itself. So unless like you are going to put high voltage like 230 voltage directly, without it, it's very like so far. With all sort of things, I don't think we have ever able to manage.
Short circuited to this thing about a billion times. There's nothing to it.
Nothing happens to it. So they are very good devices. So you don't have to be afraid that you can damage the device. So no need to worry about that. Feel free to do your experiments. Maximum you might blow up an LED, but that is fine. Right? That we keep on doing. Okay, so
I went to 5 LEDs while building this thing. And I had to replace it right now to get the resistors on it.
Yeah. So this device, which now everybody at least has one or two on their desk, right? Okay. So this device has pins, right? Very similar to what you might have seen in your monitor port, and these pins are for input and output. We'll not get into too many details of these pins, but the basic is that you connect it through a USB port to your computer, and that as a power source as well as a source from where data or the program can be uploaded. And you can of course power it through an external source like a 5 volt or a 9 volt battery. But in this workshop we can work with pretty much our USB connected laptops. And we'll see, we'll try to connect those very simple things to begin with, and then we'll proceed from there. We also have the USB cable through. Yeah. Right, one per meter. It's different. Okay, so now to use this device, another thing you would need would be an IDE. You can pretty much do it on a notepad and then upload data, but a simple IDE like this, which is given by Arduino, is easy to use. So the next thing we will try to do is to load the IDE.
Using the Wi-Fi, which he's trying to connect.
Just download it.
I might have it on older version.
You guys need to use it.
Pendrive?
Yeah. net if it is there, or otherwise a pen drive. You have the setup, I can just copy it.
Nishan might have you have pen drive?
Setup, how do you know?
I have it. I can use it.
This one or this
I have it downloaded.
one?
So that's what pen drive.
Pen drive.
You can download
We'll
it.
just give it to you.
No,
There's internet over there. Wi-Fi.
Any
तो
Wi-Fi?
वाईफाई पासवर्ड है क्या?
NASCOM 15 is the password, or 18.
Does work?
Yeah, it works.
So we can put that and connect that.
Yeah.
He has a pen drive.
Bluetooth connected.
So just copy it. मला दे दो setup. तुझ्याकडे Mac का ये
Yeah,
है?
it's easier to follow that.
I think Raman probably has.
I have it. He also have it, right? You have a Mac version.
Yeah, this
You want a Mac version or Windows version?
Windows
डाला है।
नहीं, Windows ही डालो।
You just have to put, they ask you for the password, redirect it.
हाँ, phone drive.
Everything. And a loop will be something which will continuously keep on running. So this is like a real-time computer. So everything happens in a real time, and it will continue to this loop will continue to run. And whatever you do in that loop will something which you will see an output. You might not need to take photo of this. Basically, all this is available on GitHub. We have a repository which will tell you where it is. So you would be able to download not only program but these decks and anything and everything which we have over there. You would need to use some basic components. An LED. Those who know LED, I don't have to explain, but it's like a bulb with electronic version of bulb, I would say, and has a positive, negative. And you would use a resistance. Resistance is to reduce the current which will go through the LED. Because LED, when we connect to 5 volt, you can burn it. So to avoid burning of an LED, you have to utilize a resistance so that current flow would be limited. These will be the two devices you would be using in your first project. And what we do as a first project is this, right? You do, so those who are having IDE, write this code. I will explain what this code does. So you write in the setup code, you write a pin mode LED button is equal to, so LED button as an output. Just type this code for now, exactly the way it is given here. So LED built-in is a constant which is equal to 30.
What you can use because it is
Also printed out.
put a different LED on it.
Right? Those who are already into circuit creating, this would be the circuit which it will look like. Make sure you connect a resistance. You have connected a resistor. वो जल जाएगा ऐसा constant है वो जल भी गया it will if it is blinking it will work otherwise it will burn.
So we can put a resistor on one of them.
So there are two main buttons that we need to care about. One is verify and
So here what we have done is we have, so there is a ground button which you will see on your Arduino and it is connected to the negative of an LED, and here I have connected it to pin number 10, but because we are in the program we are doing pin number 13, so you will connect it to pin number 13 in this way.
any ground point or one of the ground points will connect.
Also, the long length of the LED is the positive.
Dedicate a special
You just straighten them up. There's one long leg and one short leg.
everything.
The long leg is good.
So we have the first the right now there is implement. So So that they can verify but they compile the code.
So at the base level it is, but then they have written around top of it so that